Welcome to Trivia Club.
Hey everyone, welcome to Deep Thoughts on SNL, an SNL review and discussion show based out of the SNL Fantasy League in Toronto. My name is Rob Moden, and a bit of a loopy show today. Connectivity issues kind of plagued us throughout, and yeah, nobody deserves that. Maybe I do, because I record on Wi-Fi, which turns out to be a mistake. So from now on, I'll try and hardline in, but you'll hear me actually break in towards the end of the show and actually say, hey, at this point, our connectivity disappeared. So it affects the show. You'll see how. It ended up being kind of fun anyway, so we kept it. Other than that, today we're here to talk about the Seth Rogen Ed Sheeran episode of SNL, Season 39, Episode 18, aired April 12th, 2014. Ed Sheeran performed Sing and Don't. The sketches were as follows: Cold Open, Republicans at Coachella. Monologue, Seth Rogen's Diary. Shalon, we were unsure how to pronounce that, Drug Safety. An ad for a CNN pregnancy test. Broken Arms in a Steakhouse. A digital short about monster racism. Blue River Dog Food. On Weekend Update, we had Kenan Thompson as David Ortiz and Vanessa Bayer as Jacob the Bar Mitzvah Boy once again. There was an engagement party with Cousin Stacy, Undercover Sharpton, digital short about 420, and Herman and Sons Seaman Sale. And then in the news section, we get into Colbert being announced as the replacement for David Letterman on Late Show on CBS. And the connectivity issues kind of hit us when we wanted to get into news about the Tina Fey, Amy Poehler movie that got announced, but you'll hear what happens there. So today on the show, I have Brian, I have Leah, I have Russell. And it was great fun. We had 4 people, very energetic. If you want to follow Deep Thoughts, we have a Twitter account where we tweet news related to the show and its alumni. That's at Deep Thoughts SNL on Twitter. You can also follow the podcast at SoundCloud or on iTunes. The links to those are usually on our Twitter. And follow Russell's blog posts where he breaks down every episode and does the official point tallies for the SNL Fantasy League. triviaclub.blogspot.com. So again, some connectivity issues a little bit throughout, especially towards the end. You'll hear me break in. I do apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dear listener. You don't deserve that. I'm sorry.
And now, Deep Thoughts.
Alright, shall we start?
Let's do it.
What does everyone want to talk about first?
How about our surprise cameos in the opening sequence?
You can go for that. Go for it.
That was fun. I was surprised by... I was not surprised to see Franco, obviously. That wasn't a big surprise. But I was surprised to see Taylor Swift. That was nice. But then I found out that I think she used to date our musical guest this week.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
really?
Seth Rogen.
Yeah, I heard that as well. I don't know if that's true, though.
Well, there's articles about him saying that his song Don't wasn't about her specifically.
I thought it, because I was reading that when looking up for music choices, and I thought it was something about Eli Goulding or somebody was connected to him. I don't know.
With that kind of reasoning for Don't, he almost sounds like the male version of a Taylor Swift. So I guess that's applicable.
Well, whenever anybody
they toured
shows
together as well.
emotion.
This is true.
Yeah, because I read something that they met at some party. She was introduced by, Selena Gomez to him or something, and they started dating. But I don't know if that was actually true.
She's such a matchmaker, that Selena Gomez.
Isn't she?
Even at the goodbyes, they looked pretty coupley, too. So I was like,
Yeah.
they might be going out right now.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking was, maybe they actually are dating.
Guys, news break, they've just broken up.
Oh, no.
Last night? It must have been one hell of an SNL party.
I just made that up, but that's just
Is CNN reporting that?
Pardon?
Is CNN reporting that?
That's how I was trying to segue into the next one.
Oh, bravo.
Nice catch, Leah.
Thank you.
I really liked that sketch.
Oh yeah, the CNN pregnancy test was amazing.
Yes.
You know, actually, I was thinking when I was watching that is when they're in the coffee shop, I was like, if she's pregnant, she shouldn't be drinking caffeine.
That is a good catch, actually.
Is caffeine the new, don't drink or smoke while you're pregnant?
I think caffeine's always been involved with that.
Yeah. I think you were allowed to drink and smoke still before the caffeine thing.
Oh, wow.
Not that I'm an expert, but I think caffeine's okay in very small dose moderation.
The point is, #cancel SNL.
Let's get those 1 million moms sucking on them.
I think I tweeted that as Deep Thoughts last night when Cecily came on and did a Southern accent. Or they were all doing Southern accents in that Broken Arm sketch.
That seemed to be like a running theme this week, right? There was like 3 or 4 sketches where everybody was doing Southern accents, and I was kind of like, what's going on here? Why is everyone doing a Southern accent every other skit?
Was that
I agree with
to
you.
just support like flatter ideas for skits, or like spice them up a bit, or being like, let's be adventurous?
I don't know that doing the same exact accent for 4 skits is being adventurous.
It is a weird, you have to ask, like, at what point in the process did they just say, and we're gonna do this in accents to make it better? Because there was the whole thing, and actually I saw somebody tweet about it last night where, remember how in the Men's Rights sketch, Cecily Strong did a Southern accent, or not a Southern accent, a Latina accent?
Yeah.
And everyone, there was like a backlash because SNL doesn't have any Latinas on the cast, and then
That
same
really
thing
blew up the
happened.
internet.
Yeah, same thing happened with, I think it was when Keenan impersonated the Caribbean athlete.
Dominican Republic.
An update?
Dominican athlete? Well,
Yeah.
again, I'm racist. So.
Oh, David Ortiz, yeah.
David Ortiz, yeah.
Yep. But we're jumping around a lot. Do we want to pick one of those sketches to talk about at length first?
I think for the one where they're all at the dinner, I think they went with the Southern accents just so they could turn to the wood and say, "This is all dark wood." I really like that. For some reason, that strikes me as very Southern, and I feel like they really like, oh, and now we all have Southern accents.
That makes sense to me, and I think generally too, it was a fun concept for a sketch.
Yes. That's a good
It allowed
showcase for
some-
80.
Exactly. Yeah, it allowed for some great physical comedy and some good,
The lipstick.
yeah, between her and Seth Rogen.
It really escalated well. And Russell, did we decide whether 80 being in her bra is any points?
That is not points. She was not even close to being naked.
That's no points for this
That's the
season.
closest you can get while live.
That's
no points
not.
for this
Bobby
season,
Monahan
but-
was the closest you can get to being live.
I was going to say there's no points for this season, but we can always add in like an underwear points.
Sure. Underwear
Like,
points.
when Lady Gaga and John Milheiser, didn't she take her shirt off or something? And
Oh,
did
yeah,
she get points for that?
Parent dancing, no.
Yeah.
That's
So she
fair.
didn't get points for dancing.
Well, that's your fault for not keeping track of your own cast members.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Moi?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Sure, I'll take it.
It would be.
I send corrections to Russell's points breakdown every week.
Hey, I took my points off myself last week. I'm so honest.
As you
Such-
should have. As you
Such a
should
good
have.
fantasy
I
league.
did think about not saying anything for a couple minutes.
It crossed my mind.
So noble, Brian.
No, I think I
He
should.
should-
And then I asked for points as a reward for that.
He should get the Miscongeniality Award at the end of the season.
I think actually through corrections last week, you and, of course, a few others lost 10 points, and then I think I and a few others gained 10 points.
I'm pretty sure I
There's a
gained some
20
points. Did I lose any points last week?
I don't think so. I think if you at least gained 5. There's 2
I
teams.
lost a lot of points because Nassim is on my team.
I think I definitely got points because you originally didn't count a bunch of Terran characters as recurring, but
Ooh,
also I'm noted Bobby Moynihan in the same sketches as him. I
Yeah.
think Gashinda Perry and Fox and Friends.
Yeah.
He was pretty absent this week. He was in, the first 2 skits?
Yeah.
And
Killen?
that was it, right? No,
Killen?
Bobby
Well-
Moynihan.
Oh.
It
Killen
a
was as
strange
well,
week.
though.
Well, Russell
Yeah.
can break it down later because Russell's actually here and he can give us the official points breakdown.
That
Points.
will blow your mind.
Oh, yeah.
Blow your mind out. It all pans out.
Nassim actually did really well this week.
Yeah.
Did I?
noticed that. I noticed Phil
You've
O'Brien
seen-
was
oh, yeah.
good too.
Shalon
Seems
came back.
Her best week of the season.
Shalon, she said live from New York, and she was in the opening skit.
Mm-hmm.
And then she had her Shalon.
Shalon.
Let's just call her Shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah,
Let's roll
all
with
smoke
Jacob,
some
the
crack.
bar mitzvah boy.
Yeah.
It's Jacob's cousin, Shalom.
Let's focus on Shalom first. So,
Yes.
I don't know. I do like it on one level, but I don't like how formulaic it always is.
Yeah.
This sketch.
I love it so much, you guys. I love it so. I can't even tell
That's
you
totally fair.
how much joy it brings to me every time.
It definitely has
I see it.
to it.
I like it as a showcase for a lot of the others to get to be a kid for a couple lines here and there. So it's good to get. It's a good group one because you get a lot of different people in it, and I like it for that. But like we were talking about last week with Baby Boss, it's SNL does this all the time. It's a funny premise, but it's basically the same beats every time they bring it back.
Rather than
It
putting
was the
the
same
character
as
in a new
every
situation.
other. Exactly. It was pretty just like every other appearance she's been in. It was fun,
I guess,
but nothing new.
Yeah, I guess for me, I think that they have the best one-liners in the skit for some reason. Like, I really feel like it has the strongest characters out of their reoccurring ones. And there's so many chances, because they're getting to play kids, so they have so many chances to say, like, weird off-the-wall things,
And like when Bobby Moynihan gets all exasperated and yells down whoever the adult is, that's always so funny.
Yeah, when he's like the hero of our story, when he's like, I'll be the drug dealer.
Oh yeah, I wrote that down. That's great.
Yeah, and I love that cracks the new ice cream. What they're talking about. I'm going to do my homework.
Man up, Shallon's stepfather. Come on.
What was McKinnon's opening line? Like, I'm gonna go sit in a car and call a man.
Yeah, call a man.
I do like. I'll give a lot of credit to Nassim. Not that I've been, talking bad about her, but her child characters are all kind of different. Like, this one is very kind of an aggressive, almost
cocky.
And for some reason, her doing kind of a boy voice, while I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a girl, also makes the character better for me. But it's a different child character than from her early seasons, where she would just try to be best friends with adults and authority figures.
Right.
What was that character?
Oh, God.
I don't know.
But yeah, like, Shallon's the chaotic evil as opposed to the other one being a chaotic good.
Nerd.
Well, see, I see Shalon as actually,
evil.
like...
Sorry,
I
go ahead,
kind of
please.
see her as an adult figure. Which is
Shalon?
why I think she has, like a little bit of a deeper voice. Because she's like that, that authoritative kid that, like, everybody gets behind. Even though...
The ringleader.
We need to know her backstory. Maybe she's like an older kid that's been let back multiple times.
A couple years.
she should be in, like, the 6th grade instead.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wish they do more of. It's like, now that they've established characters like her and Baby Boss and, whoever else, I like to just take her out of that same element, put them in a completely different element. We know the characters well enough that if you throw her on even something like a class field trip, would be different. But we know the characters, so we know what to expect. And then it's just a whole different dynamic. I wish they'd do that more.
Here's the weird thing, is that I realized... I think the most famous Wayne's World sketch is actually when it goes into a dream sequence and he's with Madonna.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that live.
And that's such a break from the usual Wayne's World format, so I don't understand why they stick to the format every single time so strictly.
That's a fair point. I didn't really even consider that.
Those are
that's
your
why you
water
guys
cooler
are
ones.
trailblazers. You guys should really be consultants for SNL.
It's stuff like that makes it a water cooler show, like on Monday morning. I mean, I remember talking about that, and it's at school the next Monday. It was a big deal that Madonna was on that Wayne's World sketch, and everyone was talking about it.
Because that was even, like, black and white in the style of, like, that era Madonna, too.
And Brian, do you talk to your school friends anymore about SNL?
Probably. I should try to think. Am I still friends with people from a couple?
Oh, you were
on
supposed to
Facebook?
say no, and that would be setting up for me to go, SNL's dropping the ball, or something like that.
Well, we're champions of SNL. We
The
make
ones
a
I talk to
podcast.
SNL about are you guys.
Yeah.
I did make a podcast where basically every week we just try to be as positive as possible about SNL.
It's a fine show.
We are part of a fantasy league on SNL, so we're halfway there.
It does make me nervous that the cast does know about this.
Me too. I was kind of like, because I don't really want to critique anybody.
I was going to say Bobby Moynihan could be listening to you right now.
I love Bobby
Bob.
Moynihan.
Oh yeah,
You should
and they're comic book guys and like Dungeons and Dragons kind of guys. They all seem like a generally geeky bunch too, so I'm sure they get a kick out of something like this.
We're not the people who are going up to their faces and saying, hey, that sketch you were in last week, not great.
No, exactly.
I've done that. You guys haven't done that?
Not lately.
Never do.
That was only the Kristen Wiig, though, right?
Yeah, just her that one time. And she spit on me, which was really uncalled for.
But her spit was very quirky. We skipped past the cold open. Do we want to talk about that at all?
No.
I think
it wasn't that exciting,
well,
right?
Leo, are you excited because Beck Bennett debuting a Jeb Bush impression probably means good things for long-term points?
That would be exciting, but I guess only if Jeb Bush actually does anything for the upcoming election.
Which is the other side of that coin, yes.
Which is not going to be kicking into high gear in the next month, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
no, but
if
it's
you
like,
keep
and
Beck
also,
Bennett
it wasn't a very good Jeb. None of those were very good impressions, so that's kind of why I was a little disappointed.
No, but once they assign it, they kind of keep with it. I remember, I think around 2000. It was around when Kerry ran, so that's 2004, and then Seth Meyers.
Yep.
There was talk that he might leave eventually, or like he was talking in interviews that he was glad to get the Kerry impression because it meant he'd be sticking around for a while. He thought.
Yeah.
And that was before he got the head writer job, obviously. But yeah, I think it says something about Beck Bennett that they gave it to him as a future player.
Yep.
Yeah.
Since Jeb Bush is probably one of the two with Paul Ryan as like the de facto Republican candidate.
And can we talk about Taron Killen's guns? Oh, those were looking good.
When he was flicking them, I was like, wow, nothing really is moving. I refer
to the people on this podcast who are interested in men who can tell us whether that was impressive or not.
It was.
Okay.
When he did the little back one, though, when it's supposed to show like your tricep, that wasn't very impressive. I was like, he should really do some more things that would build that. Yeah.
This is going to be the most hurtful part when Taron listens to this podcast.
I loved it, Taron.
Friend of the show.
Working on your gun show.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, Nasim's Bobby Jindal I thought was awful, though. I thought it was really, really bad.
Who did Bobby Jindal before? Was that Amy Poehler?
I thought that was always Nasim.
Yeah, I thought it was always Nasim.
But before, Bobby Jindal's been around for a while.
I think they had Kenneth from The Office play him before.
He showed up on SNL to do that?
No, I don't know. I know he did a lot of Bobby Jindal impressions. I don't think he ever
I remember people made the impression, and I think 30 Rock made a reference to it by having him address the camera at some point or something.
Yeah, he was also on Jimmy Fallon and did it on Jimmy Fallon as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that might be what you're thinking of.
I don't think it was as clear a connection as Tina Fey, Sarah Palin, that they brought on a non-cast member to do the impression.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything will top that.
I have to say, too, from the cold open, I always enjoy it when at least two, if not more people, do the live from New York.
Yes, me too.
Not me. No.
Could you tell how happy, what's the tall guy's name? Brooks was to jump in there and say live from New York. You could see, like, pure joy on his face.
Is that the first
time he's ever said that?
It might be.
I think so.
There you go.
That's pretty exciting for him.
Congratulations, Brooks Wheatland.
He seems to be having a fun show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of a highlight for me, him and John Milheisner bringing out the food in the 80 Bryant and Seth Rogen skit. I don't know why, but them bringing out the food and saying, like, and we got some steaks here was just, was really fun for me.
Oh, they had maybe even broader Southern accents than the people in the sketch already.
And Brooks doing his very effeminate Southern accent where he's like, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy.
I always perk up when they've established who the characters are on scene, but then other people come in, like, midway through, go, ooh, more points? More points? What do I have?
There's a second act to this sketch?
Exactly.
Can we skip ahead to...
That counts.
Can we skip ahead to my favorite sketch of the night?
I think it might be everyone's favorite sketch of the night.
I don't don't know. Was it Blue River Dog Food?
No, I hated Blue River Dog Food.
You hated Blue River Dog Food?
I hated it.
It was fantastic. Passion. That'll be on Cecily's best of if they make best ofs.
Are you kidding? It was so long and so drawn out.
It was fantastic. A slow burn meltdown. It was.
They were using that dog for reactions. And I hated it. I hated it.
Can't argue with a cute puppy. Come on.
I know. I was like,
hates everything except Keenan, including wide-eyed puppies.
You monster pal.
No, that was a
I hated
fantastic
Blue
showcase
River.
for Cecily.
I don't
Blue
understand.
River was the start of the going downhill for me for this episode.
No, I just
What I
I
loved
just
about
love-
Blue River,
Sorry, go ahead.
what I loved about Blue River, it was so different from your usual SNL sketch. You don't get to see any, like this dramatic breakdown or the comedy in someone just like losing it.
I already was kind of sitting on the edge of my seat as soon as I realized, oh, this is an ad parody, but it's live. This will be interesting.
Yeah, that's yeah, you're right. That is unusual. Ad parodies that are live, that's not very common.
And I just loved how at one point she gets up and she like slowly walks to the wall and stretches her arms out against it. And the music slowly fades back in, or at least gets louder. So
I don't know about anyone else, but I
Sorry.
found myself actually getting involved in the argument in my head. Like, I wanted to argue back against her, saying, "Look, they've already gotten different dog food. What more do you want?" Like, I
We
was
switched
in
3
the
weeks
sketch.
ago. There's nothing we can do.
I was generally involved in the argument.
Did anybody see? I posted. I only found it 20 minutes before we were scheduled
did
to
see it,
record. But it's based on a real ad.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where it's clearly not as dramatic, but it's just one woman who says, like, there's not much in this world that can get me mad. But you know what did? Finding out that my dog's food had chicken product, byproduct meal as the first ingredient. I don't understand who can do this or something. It was great.
Those monsters.
Yeah.
That was
I was wondering why
I
you
loved
posted. I was wondering why you posted. I go, did he post this in the wrong chat thread on Facebook?
And
What is this?
I didn't really know how to introduce it.
Yeah, exactly. Without comment, here you go.
Yep.
No, I liked it. That was a great sketch. Was not my favorite, but it was like a 2 or 3, top 2.
And does Cecily showing this kind of range in sketches, like for this and for Baby It's Cold Outside, the thing she did with Fallon, does this sort of put on a pedestal the fact that she's maybe being underused everywhere else because of Weekend Update?
She
Like, is
has
it-
been underused since Weekend Update. It's really weird. Especially since Joe's took over. I feel like she's not been involved last year.
Yeah, she hasn't, though.
Been
As,
underused.
as the one person in this group who has her picked as a player,
Yeah.
I feel I have the most stake in this conversation.
And
But
you
yeah,
can
she's
tell
been
us.
underutilized, but she has been used well, I thought.
Yes.
Mhm.
I think it's just time management. Like, if you're doing update, you don't have time to be in as many other sketches.
See, I feel like she's still gotten a lot of action since she's been
This
on.
week she did.
Yes.
This week I was surprised by how much they used her. And I
I
liked it.
feel like she's not I think they did this more last year with her, but this year they've stopped using her as kind of side characters and stuff to add some flavor, which I think is what they still do with McKinnon. Like McKinnon was the bartender in, say, Undercover Sharpton.
Yeah.
I loved her as the bartender.
Just to throw in kind of a weird
Yeah.
voice and mannerism there, whereas Cecily Strong, I think they use her now as a leading
Yeah.
character.
Well, she was in the Southern restaurant 80 Brian Broken Arms thing, right? She was like a random like fifth
That's
person
true.
in that.
She was. Yeah,
She wasn't
like
a couple, but
I think
like
she was
a
the
fifth
birthday
person.
girl, actually.
Oh,
She
that
was the
might be,
birthday
yeah.
girl. Yeah, she was the birthday girl.
Can we talk
So the
about the
50
low light of the night, which was also a Cecily sketch, unfortunately?
The Rogan being gay.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was super uncomfortable with that.
I was not impressed with the direction of that. I think it's also... Oh, just a second. I think it's also just the fact that it's a sketch that really drives home like a negative idea.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they
like,
have
the
an
approach to
unfortunate
it.
history with that.
I guess I didn't understand what they were trying to do with that at all. But I felt like it was the same thing with the dog food. It was way too long, except this one was just, there wasn't even a joke to it. There was nothing other than
The joke was...
Cecily being loud.
And obnoxious.
No, but
Yeah.
the joke was... Because I feel like... So they either pitched it as... So it's Cecily as someone who's getting married, his cousin, who reveals something about him with a southern accent, and or they pitched it as somebody's getting married and then it comes out that he sucked a dick once and he doesn't want to admit it.
Well,
How do you pitch that?
and what
I just
was,
don't want to. I don't want to
2014.
see this returning as like a reoccurring character for Cecily Strong because that would just be a waste of
Yeah.
5 minutes per show.
yeah, I mean, at first I thought the joke was that she was going to be like this white trash
Embarrassing.
party
also.
crasher. Yeah,
Yeah.
like she was going to, and then they took it to this weird place that I didn't get it at all. I was watching it going, what the hell are they doing?
I was expecting them to keep changing what she was embarrassing about, like, oh, it doesn't mean he's gay, and then change it to something else, and then change it to something else, but they kept harping that one point, and then they just stopped it.
I'm comfortable saying it was straight up homophobic.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, they've had, I don't know, some problems with that before. Remember that sketch a few months ago that we really didn't like?
Yeah.
It was the end of the show, near the end of the show one. I can't remember, blanking on it now. I think it was like slave time sex.
I can't remember.
But yeah, we didn't. It was the same thing. It just came off, and I do not think they're doing that at all remotely intentionally. I think it's just coming off that way, and they don't realize it.
And
having
watched the roast for James Franco, do you think that Seth Rogen actually pitched that sort of?
Somebody on Twitter suggested that, but I don't know, because it seems like it was born of Cecily had a character or a voice, and then they needed to give her something to do.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I agree that was not the best sketch of the night.
There was a couple of things with like Seth Rogen hosting that really bothered me. Just because I felt like they kept playing on shit that's not funny. Him smoking pot all the time. It's not even 420, and there were so many like pot reference things. They even had the pre-recorded thing about 420.
A very smoky 420 time, yeah.
Yeah,
but I think that's like that. I think that's part of his persona, even though he doesn't want it to be necessarily. I was reading the Vulture review, and the person who does the reviews there was talking about how. Can't remember if it was a he or a she, but that person interviewed Rogan last year, and he seemed bored by the pot questions, which the interviewer felt the need to bring up. But I feel it's something the writers probably pushed on him.
But to be fair, this is the last show before 420, so if they're going to do any 420 jokes...
I feel like Kyle Mooney would have done that sketch with or without Rogan as the host.
Yeah.
Can I say, too, that was also...
Even in his monologue... him talking about smoking pot, and there was just a lot of references to it. And then,
I don't think Rogan pitched that monologue.
No, I don't think the monologue was very good either. And then like him making fun of his laugh, we've seen him do this before, where he can't stand that people talk about his laugh. Like it was just a lot of like rehashing of.
Well, to their credit, or Rogan's credit, he ad-libbed this, but he just said like, "Okay, we get it." Or something.
Yeah, but he always does that. That's how he always reacts when people bring up his laugh. So I just don't think he's the kind of guy who, when they bring that idea to him, he's going to shut it down and say, like, I don't want to talk about that stuff anymore. I think he's too easygoing for that. I'm generally saying I don't think it came from Rogan. I think it came from the writers. But this is all speculation. Yeah, I mean, like, his entire monologue I thought was kind of a train wreck, so...
It was just a way to get the cameos in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that bothered me. I was like, and then like making light of what James Franco did, and I'm not saying like he should be in jail or anything like that, but if that was, to me, it's just not.
But it was a gross thing to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like everybody just kind of breezes past that this thing happened with James Franco, and I realized that he was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry about it," but it's like it's kind of just like in publicity overspin where he's just. Trying to be like, oh, yep, I messed up. And it's like, well, you got caught this time. Like, surely this isn't the first time you've hit on a 17-year-old girl.
Instead of a date, yeah.
I'm not trying to get into an argument about it, but just to clarify, did he keep hitting on her after he found out she was 17?
Yes, I read those things. And
okay.
I mean,
I read them too,
pause.
but I couldn't follow the timeline quite right.
Can I bring it back around to the show?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. I will say that there was another sketch that I thought was really weak. Not really weak, but more or less my other least favorite sketch of the show. And that was the very smoky 420 digital short there. I think it was, something that Mooney has a habit of in terms of like he's either really funny for being awkward and etc., but sometimes it's just over long. And it's like a Tim and Eric, you can tell the influence there, but it just doesn't click in the weirdness or the setup of the entire show. It just felt very much.
Yeah, I agree.
Very much like the odd sketch out.
I felt like there were quite a few, like the sketches that really didn't work, and they went on way too long, and that was one of them.
Yeah, it was my least favorite of the Good Neighbor digital shorts, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me a little bit to a degree, of the fake leap day traditions that 30 Rock made up. They were making up like traditions for 420. Not at all the same level or successful, obviously, but just the whole making up of like the song that they all knew, stuff like that.
And I'm not sure what I laughed when it was revealed the first time that like his roommate smokes, but he does not.
Yeah.
But I don't know long term what the joke behind that was supposed to be.
Yeah, I didn't really. I thought maybe it was going somewhere funny when they introduced that, and then it was just completely dropped. And I
thought the reveal would be
like loose zaniness.
Yeah.
He was just a poser about it. He didn't actually do it. But then when Rogen's character then goes, "Oh, you know that song," and they both start singing this song, I go, well, no, then that theory's out the window.
And then at the end, when Rogen asks him if he wants to smoke or something, he says, "No, I don't smoke." So he's not even a poser or anything. He just weirdly indulges in this culture that he doesn't take part in whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which, I always feel like that sort of song setup was the crutch that, say, the last generation of SNL always used. Like, they didn't have an out for the sketch, so they just sang something and then faded to black.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing to do on a digital short where you have that extended time.
Yeah, where you actually can think of a way to end it.
Or even a sudden cut to black can be part of it, because the live show can't suddenly cut to black as the editing for the sketch.
Yeah.
Can I say your least favorite of the night was Undercover Al Sharpton?
What? I love that one.
No, I'm
actually on Leah's side. This is going to be a 2-on-2.
I liked everyone else except Kenan Thompson in it.
Kenan Thompson probably had as good or like the second best performing show, I think, other than Nassim.
Really?
I think because we do usually harp on him.
Are you talking about points, or are you talking about him being used in characters?
As
a comedian, performance-wise.
Yeah,
I thought he for being one note,
doing the same thing.
He has like deep thoughts to SNL, but I think he had a lot of fun with his different characters this week with Al Sharpton and with David Ortiz, which I think was a strong.
David Ortiz, I thought was great.
Hated David Ortiz. David Ortiz.
And I felt like it was
way too long.
So good.
Do you have to know about baseball to get David Ortiz?
Yes.
Because the impression I got from AV Club was that he's he's like kind of a phenomenon within baseball fandom, but I had no idea who he was.
No, me either.
He's like the Papa Bear of the Boston Red Sox, if you want to go that way.
Yeah, talk about overlong sketches. That was overlong.
See, I liked it for a couple of reasons. One, we got to see Kenan do something a bit different than he normally does. And two, I really felt like this was the first time we saw Colin Jost seem more comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Be able to relax with the character.
Yeah, I feel like he was actually like engaged, and he was a lot more relaxed and comfortable with Kenan than we've seen with any of the other things that he's done.
Yeah. Literally a lot less stiff, like physically and mannerisms.
I thought Joseph was pretty good this week.
Mm-hmm. Now, I was happy, speaking about interaction between the Weekend Update anchor and the character, I really liked the direction they took Cecily and Jacob.
Yeah. I did like that too.
I was cracking up.
Where she was just kind of being very flirtatious with him, and then, oh my god, the part where she mentioned Jeter, and Vanessa Bayer just like very quickly like smacks away a tear. Oh, it was so adorable and endearing.
It was. That's true, 'cause warmed my heart.
They hadn't talked about Derek Jeter retiring, because that's like a big thing this year now, too. But I hadn't even thought about that until it's like, oh yeah, Jacob's a big fan of Jeter. He's a New York kid who's a Yankees fan.
It was a good touch.
Yeah.
I did also like
the repeated references to the mom's tuna casserole.
Tuna casserole. Oh, when Jacob first said that, it's like my mom's tuna casserole. I lost it. I thought it was so funny.
And Cecily tries to join in.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Cecily tries to join in, saying, "Oh, like your mom's tuna casserole," and like Jacob, of course, freezes up.
Yeah, no selling it in his classic fashion.
Now, Leah, even though you loved it, at the time you were saying that this reinforces your point that Vanessa Bayer only has one or two characters.
Well, no, I made like a crack about, yay, one of her two voices. Yeah.
Okay. But you loved it.
But I wasn't actually watching it when you were tweeting. Did you not get that when you made the comment about David Ortiz? And I thought you were talking about I don't even know what I thought you were talking about.
Oh, yeah, so
Ed Sheeran. I thought you were saying Ed Sheeran was
This is not even commentating on SNL itself, but the story that brought out David Ortiz was that he was criticized online because he used a Samsung phone to take a selfie with the president when he endorsed his Samsung phones.
Yeah, and Samsung retweeted it.
Okay, but versus, like, I feel like there's been 3 or 4 stories in the last 2 months where a celebrity endorses a Samsung phone or a Motorola, I don't know, and then they get caught using an iPhone in public. So the internet just won't let you endorse a phone, apparently.
I hate to break this to you, Rob, but the internet can be a fickle bitch.
You can either... They criticize you for not using the phone you endorse, and they criticize you for using the phone you do endorse.
Can you imagine?
People just like to complain, you know?
We'll get to that when we get to Colbert and Letterman in the news section.
Have we missed the boat with talking about Undercover Sharpton? Because
let's circle back to that.
So many details of that.
Is there anything more to talk about with Jacob, though? I'm glad they brought him back, basically.
Yeah, it was a nice surprise. I thought he'd be like retired with Seth, but that was nice.
And for
I feel like they wouldn't have introduced him to Cecily if they were going to retire him, though.
Yeah,
it's good. I'm glad they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Undercover
Sharpton. Lakes. Yeah, Undercover Sharpton, just all the details of that, with like him not knowing how to use a gun or talking to the briefcase. It's like obvious jokes, but I think it was still delivered very well with like 70s era Fat Sharpton, and him even making that joke too. I'm always going to be this big.
The opening credits were fantastic.
Mm-hmm. It kind of reminded me of the Dyke and Fats skit a couple of weeks ago, and I kind of like
you can't call them that.
How do you know? How do you know?
Ooh.
I have no response.
I appreciate and I like the fact that Undercover Sharpton could be easily a recurring bit. They could use that multiple times, and I appreciate that, at least. It wasn't just a one-off.
I thought it was a great premise,
reference.
Obviously gifted to them by Real World News, but I thought the execution was just meh.
I agree.
Really? I really liked it. I thought it was really cute.
I did I liked Kate as the bartender. My first initial thought was, oh my god, Keenan's not playing a bartender. Oh wait, there's a reason why.
Because he was playing a bartender in...
Yep, he played a bartender later.
Yeah, he played a bartender in the Monster Palace, right?
Yeah.
But just imagine if like Tracy Morgan was around when this news broke. It would have been great. I feel like he would have been. That would have been a great performance versus Keenan kind of just yelling out incredulities.
Are we saying that Tracy Morgan style isn't yelling?
He's yelling in a very specific way with a weird energy. Keenan stands there and yells.
You say specific and I say random because that's like the definition.
It's a specifically random way.
Specifically.
Is anyone going to do a Tracy Morgan impersonation, or is that fall on me?
Oh, I am not even going to try.
None of us are Alec Baldwin. We can't do it.
That's true.
What about was it Herman and Sons? The sperm bank?
My favorite part of that might have just been the joke about the name of the store, where it turns out one of them is named Herman, and one of them is last name is Sons.
I can totally see that someone pitching that late in the session. Like, what if we call the bubble and we have Keenan as the other guy? Like, that's perfect.
I think the best part was A.D. Bryant running across with
the
car full of
absolutely.
What's worth in points? Was that an NPC or not?
She said something.
She screamed.
Yeah.
I mean, she screamed. She didn't say anything.
Yeah.
That was
only when they're in the background, just filling space.
All right.
As soon as she did that, I pictured her waiting in the wings on the side with that shopping cart, waiting for the queue.
Just getting pumped to herself, just like, oh yeah. Oh, this is gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Woo! Woo! Semen yogurt.
And I did like they have doctor sperm, lawyer sperm, but mostly hobo sperm.
Yeah, I like the hobo sperm.
And the callback to like in 1878.
Yeah. They didn't have artificial insemination in back then, but they still kept it anyway.
I just love little lines like, we can only have 9% crossover between the old sperm storage and the yogurt storage. Otherwise, we get classified as a sperm bank. We can't handle the taxes. Thanks, Obama.
I really liked Keenan's face when they said thanks, Obama.
And I like that it was
Wasn't it
Keenan
Keenan who said it?
It was
Did
Keenan.
No!
Yes, it was.
It was Keenan who said
I
it.
noted that right away. Yeah, 100%.
But the face he makes directly after was classic.
Thanks, Obama really is the meme that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
It's great because you can almost use it for anything, and so it keeps the surprise every time. It's great.
The most nonsensical it is, the better it is.
Exactly.
I did like that they were using a yogurt machine prior to them being a yogurt shop. I did always have that yogurt machine in there for spare.
Yeah.
But now we're going to turn it over into an actual yogurt machine.
I was equal parts disappointed and then like secretly thought it was really funny when, they're like, and next week this is going to actually be used for yogurt. And Seth Rogen's like,
it's not a yogurt machine yet?
Yeah. And I was kind of like, oh, that's so, cliche.
Which is kind of along the same lines of how we were disappointed earlier with the guy sucks another guy's dick sketch, but this was kind of clever in its own way. That was a kind of cliche line, but it was within kind of a clever context.
Exactly. Yeah. You saw it coming, but it wasn't the entire crux of an otherwise uncomfortable scene.
It wasn't the only joke in the sketch.
So looking over my notes, the only thing we've skipped is monster racism.
It was so good! Oh my God, it was so good!
Far and away the best sketch of the night. Easy.
It was the best sketch of the night.
Easy.
It was all right.
Oh, right, you're crazy!
I appreciated the direction and all the kind of subtlety and the atmosphere and whatnot. Actually, hold on, did anybody else... Was there an editing error in there? I swear...
Yes, there was.
In the opening scene where suddenly there's a cut to a later scene where they're approaching Taran Killam?
Yeah, there was.
Okay. I wasn't going crazy. Okay. There was just a shot out of it.
I'm like,
something.
wait, did that happen? Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Oh.
Yeah, it didn't make sense until 2 minutes later when Taran Killam was introduced, but yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Anyway, I liked
the dialogue in it, like the subtitles and the formality in their dialogue with each other. I like the whole subtext. Not even subtext. It's rarely overt. Like, once you have the surgery, you're going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was,
I like the final line about
content.
how Mike O'Brien's face is a cheaper face than Jim Franco's face.
They might get them to do the notes differently.
Yeah. I thought it was really
as the guy
cute.
who... Oh, when?
I thought it was really cute. I liked the kind of like undertones, like French indie film that, it kind of had going. And I don't know. I thought it was really cute. It was also the only time we saw Jay Farrow last night, right?
That's right. That is right.
Yeah, he had a quiet night, didn't he?
He had a very quiet night. I know this personally with Jay Farrow on my team.
Yes! Yes!
It's reckoning for those Obama cold opens, you asshole.
Yeah.
That's why I drafted the man. Come on. That's why I drafted
After you set the rules yourself.
Hey, I set the rules, then we all drafted together.
Who drafted? Were you not the first one to draft?
No, I was the...
No, I was.
I picked Jay Farrow in the second round.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not my fault I have a weak division. That's right, I said it.
Hey, I got Kate and Cecily on the snake round. I was very happy.
That was still very much a smart decision.
You and Matt both, yeah.
I
remember thinking what a sucker Brian was that he picked two women to be on his team.
3 women total. I got Noelle on my feature player.
And he's so far left you in the dust.
I know. I was like, that guy's a schmuck.
Well, should we use this to transition into points?
One of them's totally going to get pregnant before the end of the season.
Wow. Should we use this to transition into points?
Sure.
All right, Russell, take the lead.
Yes, as the guy who did the points, to sort of not ruin the transition, but like that monster sketch was so tough because I'm like, who is behind these masks?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's Michael O'Brien from The Face, but who are behind these other masks?
That's what I was shocked by. Because actually,
I thought it was really obvious who was behind both of those masks.
You caught Franco right away?
No. Yeah, I knew right away it was Franco.
Who was behind the girl's mask then? Do you know? The girl vulture?
I'm going to say McKinnon based on body size. It was definitely one of the more slender women's, but
that
with
could be
boobs,
Noelle.
so it was McKinnon.
I did also like the Monsters University. Oh, they took a lot of liberties with that.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was a lovely touch. Yeah.
Oh, but the one thing I did think about was, because I remember one time my drama teacher, just one of those classes where the teacher doesn't want to do anything, so she brought in the biography channel special on Lorne Michaels, and it was I think it was, they were doing a sketch with Michael Jackson, and it was Dean Edwards under a lot of makeup. And they cut the sketch because apparently Lorne Michaels has a rule that you have to be able to recognize the performer underneath the makeup.
Oh.
And so that's what occurred to me at the beginning, where it was just like, wow, this is weird, because you really can't tell without some really looking at it and getting distracted from the sketch to try and figure out who it is.
Yeah,
That's
playing
so weird, because I could tell right away that it was Franco and O'Brien.
It took me like 20
idea.
seconds to figure out Mike O'Brien, and I never figured out Franco until it was revealed.
Really?
So I appreciated that for the reveal. I'll say.
Like, I even thought, because Franco, they put, like, where his mask was, they put gray under his eyes, and I actually thought they had put the gray part to try to hide how obvious it was that it was Franco.
No, I had no.
Especially once Seth Rogen came in and was the bully, I was like, well, obviously it's not Seth Rogen.
All right, well, Leah has a skill that she can put on her resume.
Yeah, Leah is the master of the human body.
Oh, can we also talk about how great it was when they were grabbing people? And it was obvious that he was actually walking up and, like, scaring the shit out of people.
Yes.
Oh, that was great, yeah.
It's like Michael Bryan Street once again.
I would like to see how that was pitched to Lauren. So we're gonna have mass of monsters, and they're gonna be grabbing people on the streets.
I think he was more open to that pitch than the 420 pitch.
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
I'm actually always surprised when they kind of take digs at, like, the opening skit, knowing Lorne Michaels is a conservative.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is he just He's Canadian, though.
Didn't you guys read that article where he was talking about how, like, SNL, like, when they were asking him about SNL breeding conservatives, and he was talking about being a conservative?
But all Canadians are liberal socialists. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know.
He might have been in America too long to be still considered a Canadian.
Touche.
I think the most conservative a Canadian can be is just that they want to trash the environment. That's about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that they're from Toronto.
I stand with trash the environment. Cars for everyone. Cars everywhere. No bike lanes.
Bike lanes. So yes, points. Should I get into points?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So who do we think is the top point getter overall in the cast?
I want to see Kate. Off the top of my head.
No, Kate wasn't in it that much, I don't think.
I thought she was. I noticed her quite a bit, but I tend to look for her and Cecily.
I'm
Kate's
gonna
actually
say
a little on the lower end.
Open.
I'm gonna say Cecily.
Would you believe it's a featured player for the first probably week I can remember?
Really?
It is Beck Bennett.
Hold on. Oh,
It is
okay.
Beck Bennett.
Wow, how many times?
Beck Bennett with 62 points.
Wow.
Got a good show.
And I was gonna rub it in Leah's face that, like,
Suck it, Rob.
Kyle
Come on.
Mooney has created. I told her that he would be the go-to weirdo, and now he has, like, his go-to segment of the show. I was so ready to rub it in her face.
But that go-to
I
segment of
told
the
you
show
it
is-
will be next season before Kyle Mooney makes more points than Beck Bennett.
No, you said it would be next season before he even had, like, a clear role, and I think you're wrong on that. I think he has a clear role.
But it's
He's the
still
weirdo.
not going to take over. And I think he'll have a bigger role next season, but I still think that they're kind of testing him out right now.
Yes, I've given up on him having more points than Beck Bennett. Let's shut up and move on.
Aww.
Here's the thing with Kyle Mooney as from a point-getting perspective. He does have the place on the show that's his go-to place, but
his
it's always
one place.
post-second song.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and if it's a good neighbor sketch, that means he's going to be in it with Beck Bennett.
That's true.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
think this
Beck
through.
Bennett's
All
always
right.
gonna win.
But yes, after Beck Bennett, Taron Killam is the next
Really?
top point getter. Yeah.
I didn't see him much.
I felt like Taryn was really light in this episode.
He had
He's like a
supporting
waiter
roles.
here, waiter there.
Half
Right,
of
yeah,
that
he had
had to
supporting
be-
roles in Monster Pals and the wedding rehearsal dinner, the incredibly uncomfortable one. But because of that, the cold open,
Yeah, that must have been half.
Yeah, that's true.
Live from New York, cold open, recurring character.
Was he the dad to be in the CNN pregnancy test?
No, that was Beck Bennett.
That was
Okay.
Beck Bennett, yeah. Which was another 10 points for Beck Bennett.
Boo.
Yeah, and Beck Bennett also said Live from New York.
Yeah.
And let's see. After that, Nassim is actually the third highest. Nassim
What
has
is
50
going on?
Actually, Nassim and Brooks Wheelan were tied for third with 50
Oh my
points.
god!
He is looking at 7th place this week, maybe.
This was a very weird week for points, is what I'm saying. Like, all your normal low point getters, for whatever reason, they were given that opportunity to do a lot more.
I did notice it was a really good episode for Nassim, because she was in the opening skit, she got to say Live from New York, and then she got the shalom.
I will
Shall
point
we now?
out that this is like the first episode of 2014 where Russell has put these points together before I put together an unofficial one. So maybe Russell's at blame here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there.
Can I also say that we'd never used yours for the official one, so I'm just saying.
No, but you're basing it off my research.
That's true. Wait, what?
No.
Let's keep going.
I'm right.
Rob's just trying to claim glory over there.
I'm just weirded out by this point spread, and I think
Oh, it's an incredibly weird show in terms of points.
and it's a weird coincidence that's the first week in a long time that Russell's gone solo on point tallying.
Trying to make a monkey out of you.
Everything that's seen on the blog is always points that I put up for the Fantasy League. Although, of course, even for all these are all like official yet still unofficial until any sort of intricacies are pointed out.
The blog
Pretty
post
sure.
will be the official one.
Yeah, I'm always sure
I'd like to state, I don't think Annie should get points for the Al Sharpton thing, him saying lines, because it was completely useless. Thank you for your time. The end.
I will kick you out this Skype chat right now.
The speaker does not have the floor. The speaker does not have the floor.
The floor is closed.
Close for questions.
42 points for Kenan Thompson, doing his usual fill-in stuff with his other recurring characters, etc. Vanessa Bayer and Noel Wells are tied with 40 points. Then we have Cecily Strong with 37. Bobby Moynihan with 30. A.D. Bryant with 27. Kate McKinnon and Mike O'Brien have 25 points. Yes, Mike O'Brien is tied with Kate McKinnon this week.
Ooh,
Yeah, she wasn't in it. Yeah.
No.
Topsy-turvy.
Sashir Zameda has 20 points. And then, let's see, we have Jay Farragut having 10 points, Kyle Mooney having 15, and John Milheiser having 12. So actually the lowest on the totem pole is Jay Farrow this week, with his one.
Wow.
Lower than
5 second
Milheiser.
appearance. Mm-hmm.
You said it like it's an insult. Lower than Milheiser.
Ooh.
Milheiser.
I think we all like Milheiser in general. I think we just acknowledge the reality of the situation.
Milheiser, let me tell you something. Milheiser, he's fired. He's fired.
No.
He's gone after this year.
Wow.
I love him.
You heard it
don't
here
have him.
first, folks.
The writing is on
Milheiser's gone.
It's like 3 out of the 4 last episodes, he's had maybe one scene, if that.
He's gone. He's gone.
Does he have a character yet? I feel like he
No.
had a character.
Nope.
Didn't he have
I
one?
feel like the character.
I feel like he had one.
I think you're thinking of the one skit he had lines in, is probably what you're thinking of.
Oh.
Oh,
do-
he had, the fucking, fuck shit stuff.
That was great stuff.
That was good stuff.
The 2.5 Men,
Oh,
yeah.
Crier.
which should not be a thing.
Yeah, he's got Crier.
I did find it interesting. So Moynihan is sandwiched between Cecily Strong and Vanessa Bayer, was it?
Oh, it's true.
And Moynihan didn't feel like he was around at all this week.
I
Whereas
really didn't notice him.
Bayer and Strong both had like 1 or 2 sketches where they let it.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
Moynihan,
is-
he had 2 things going for him. He was in the opening monologue, but so were 3 or 4 other people.
Mhm.
As the parent. But he did a lot of supporting stuff. He was one of the kids in the Shalom?
Shalom.
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 And then he was also
Jimmy
just
Fallon.
supporting, yeah, exactly, a supporting part in the obnoxious sketch with Cicely Strong and also the undercover Sharpton one. It was like the mobster number 2.
Yeah, but Cecily led the Blue Dog River or Blue River Dog Food, and she led the White Trash Cousin. Vanessa Bayer had Jacob, and she had CNN pregnancy test.
Mm-hmm.
Your point system is messed up, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
give Cecily 50 more points.
Be thankful for allowing me to have you be part of the Fantasy League podcast.
I am. I bow down to you. Thank you for letting me be on your Trivia Club podcast network.
That's why what I'm saying, when Vanessa Bayer and Noelle Wells are getting the same points in an episode, like that to me is kind of sad. Because Vanessa Bayer obviously had like distinguished parts, whereas Noelle Wells just showed up and said like a line.
Oh yeah, there is some intricacies that can be added. Certainly. I welcome that too. Trying to figure that out. And make this a stronger fantasy league for everyone.
Shall we move on to news?
Sure.
News!
So the big news of the week is that, I don't think we covered it last week, that Letterman is retiring.
What?
And then Colbert is taking a spot. And Brian, I will be honest, I pushed for having 4 people this week, even though Leah and Russell were already confirmed, because you had a meltdown about it.
But I think me and Brian were actually like on the same side.
Yeah, but you agreed with me that like there was a lot of pessimism going on about a show that doesn't exist yet.
No, I agreed that everybody was being bitches about this news. But and it's like a year away.
Brian, defend yourself.
Okay, 2 things. One thing, Jared Sharp just replied to a tweet. Okay.
Who?
Hey, Jared. The guitar player?
I'm not thinking so much. I'm not so concerned about the Light Show. He's going to be great. He's going to be fine. He's a perfect fit for it. I'm upset about the Colbert Report is done for.
Yeah, that is very upsetting.
I'm missing a show that is a unique show. It's not replicating anything else that's not on the air. Nothing that replaces it is the same show. It's not like someone else is going to fill in and do the Smith Report. It's done. And we're not going to get that show anymore. We're not going to get his election night coverage. We're not going to get his doing stuff about like the cancel Colbert.
I really hope they go all out with their midterms this year, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'm going to miss that show.
Can I say something in reply to that though? I think it's still late night with Stephen Colbert, and even though it's not the character Stephen Colbert, it's Stephen Colbert the person. I don't think there's that much of a distinction, especially if he's going to be on television. We're still going to have a great character.
Me and Brian, I think our big part that me and Brian were disappointed in is that Stephen Colbert is such a smart and unique thing, and now he's just another late night host. Like, we're losing something that's...
Let me say two things. Let me say 2 things. One is that I appreciate that we're all going to miss the Colbert Report, obviously.
Yes.
But I feel like we've gotten 10 years out of it, which is way more than I think. And I think at the beginning, I think Vulture just put out an article recapping what critics were saying in 2005, where I don't think anybody expected this parody of pundit shows to last 10 years and be as brilliant as it was. We got a great show out of it, and 10 years is a great run for it. I don't think the way Brian was talking a bit, and this could be easily me mischaracterizing him, is that he kind of acted like he wanted that character and that show to last 20, 30 years, whereas I don't know, if that's fair to Colbert and his crew for being kind of pigeonholed into a very specific premise.
That. Come on.
Okay.
What person in entertainment
Here's the second part.
Fairly.
Here's the second part. Is that what Leah just said is also what I've seen in a lot of comments where it's 2 parts, and the first part is Colbert is amazing, he's great, he's a genius. The Colbert Report that he led is one of the greatest shows and some of the greatest late night comedy. And then simultaneous to that, we're not giving him any credit when we say, and now he's clearly going to be a cookie cutter host on a cookie cutter show. I think that's really underestimating him, even though we're saying he just came off the greatest show of late night probably in the last 20 years or something.
Let me address the first part. That it's been 10 years and we didn't expect it to last long. He just won the Emmy for the first time. He's never won before.
Well, that's a separate argument. He obviously deserved the Emmy for a long time.
It's not like the show was running as... It's not like the show is running at steam, I meant. The fact, like, the cancel Colbert thing just showed right there. He's still more than on a game and doing incredible things with the character, which you'd think would be limiting, but clearly because of the limit, they can do brilliant things that other shows just can't do.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine what he's possible of, having just won the Emmy, of being able to do anything.
He's interviewing celebrities. Like, it's not going to be...
But as much as I think, and I think it came out how Bill Carter, who wrote the last 2 late night war books, said that he made the point, at least, that Colbert has always lined up his contracts with Letterman's. Like, he's always made sure that the expiries are around the same time. Mm-hmm. So I think Colbert, as much fun as he and his crew have always been clearly having with the rapport, I feel like he might have been ready to move on.
That doesn't surprise me at all. And I'm not saying he should stay there because it's the best show for him or whatever that. If he wants to do it, by all means, he should do it. I'm just sad for the loss of one of my favorite shows and characters. That's just not going to be the same. Could be great, could be brilliant. I'm sure it's going to. But I'm sad the loss of the Colbert Report. But
I hope that means that if he was so gung ho about he wants to host a show like Late Show, then maybe that means he himself thinks that he will be a better fit for Late Show than he was on Colbert Report.
Maybe.
See, I feel like it's I have a hard time believing that a show like, The Tonight Show is open to them doing whatever they want. Like, I feel like they have so much pressure that he ultimately will not have that big of a say on what the show is.
Now, here's the thing, though. He's going to be the host. It's going to be late night with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, but the Tonight Show and everything
The Tonight
like
Show
that
is Jimmy Fallon's corner. It's going to be the celebrity corner. It's going to be everything. I mean, Late Show, that's Seth Meyers with the whole, his thing. And Late Night has always been a little bit more off-center from The Tonight Show. It's not celebrities in L.A. or now, New York being all fun and happy and light. I mean, Stephen Colbert is still Stephen Colbert. He's going to be able to attack them, maybe not as hard, not even attack, but, he's not going to approach them maybe not as hard as an older Letterman.
And I think there's something to be said about... I think there's something to be said about, even though obviously there's a whole other argument about this is another white straight comedian, but...
Oh, I don't care about that.
Okay. But I think when is kind of the last time that we have seen as interesting a choice as Colbert be appointed to one of these shows?
It's a great choice for CBS. It's a great choice for CBS. It's a great choice for The Late Show. It's a great choice for Stephen Colbert, the person. To me, though, I just feel like he could do anything on the Colbert Report. Viacom's not going to do anything to stop him from doing it, basically. He's fought against Viacom on its own show. Yeah, to me, he's just going on the big corporate network show. He's going to be interviewing Brad Pitt about his latest movie, introducing Arcade Fire, and having some fun little skits in between. And to me, it's just like all the other ones.
But apparently CBS loves him. Apparently Les Moon loves him, even though...
I'm sure they do, but they'll still try to kill everything that made him unique.
I don't know about that.
I say let's trust in this Emmy-winning comedian and host.
And
I would love to be proven wrong. I'm just saying that the network's going to matter, the ratings are going to matter, and I think ultimately it's going to be a big loss of the voice that Stephen Colbert has.
I also think
Stephen Colbert's been getting stronger ratings than the Letterman in the necessary 18 to 35 demographic. I don't think the ratings or anything like that is going to be a problem.
I don't know if all the same people are going to follow it to the Late Show, though.
I think they will.
So.
If they're watching him at 11:30, they're going to watch him at 11.
Yeah, but Colbert Report on comedy is a different kind of subculture niche than the big network Channel 16 or whatever show at 11:30. I just don't know.
Nation. It's the Colbert fan base. Because I think The Daily Show, if one day Jon Stewart wanted to move on, John Oliver already proved that it's possible for somebody to move in there. And... in part because of the format, but in part because it's so much you watch for Stephen Colbert, the performer / the character. But I don't think anybody else could have filled in for Stephen Colbert's shoes.
No.
I feel like he has a fan base that will follow him wherever
I feel like he's going to get initial really good attention, but I feel like I can just see people saying this isn't the same show.
Yeah.
And
But
drop
I also
off after
think
the first week.
I also think late night is most open right now to innovation, even though nobody is
I hope so.
taking advantage of that
I
because it's
really hope so.
it's so spread
Next
out.
generation.
It's so spread out that you even see how somebody as kind of also cookie cutter as Jimmy Fallon was when he joined the late night game, and he has kind of taken it into not necessarily new directions, but he's really kind of opened it up to a new attitude. Kind of.
It's a 21st century late night host as
I was
opposed
going to say, but I think it's just more like him pandering to a younger audience than
But
maybe
all I'm saying is
Leno
that
or
it's clearly
Letterman.
a different direction than obviously Jay Leno was in. It's a different direction than where Conan O'Brien was going, where it was a very kind of
It's a new generation.
So I
But
think
then you
that
look at
there's-
somebody like Seth Meyers, who was still a younger generation, and I feel like he tried to do a little bit of a smarter show, and it's just boring as all fuck.
Let's all be honest. We all had kind of hopes for Seth Meyers to
they
bring
weren't
kind
high.
of an intellectual thing to it, but I don't think any of us were expecting him to break the format or do anything really innovative.
No, that's true.
The most innovative thing he might do is performing sketches that were cut from SNL. That says a lot about him.
Yeah.
But I think Colbert, there's an openness in the air right now where everyone acknowledges that this is a new generation of late night. And so Colbert will be allowed to stretch out and kind of
hope
tinker with
so.
the formula.
I
I'm
hope
just
so.
worried it's
I
going to be
hope
like
so.
every other show. That's my
Yeah,
thing.
me too.
I don't think Colbert is ever going to have higher ratings than Jimmy Fallon.
No.
He's going to
I
be the
don't think
Letterman to his
No,
Leno.
but I think CBS
But-
is comfortable with a second
Oh, yeah.
place. If he beats
Oh, yeah.
Kimmel, and I think his Comedy Central show already beats Kimmel, he'll be fine.
especially if he has the intellectual superior.
I
If they have
hope so.
the smart choice as opposed to the fun viral choice.
If we didn't have the Colbert Report, I would be absolutely thrilled with this choice. It's just the loss of the Colbert Report for me. That's my big problem.
What if it had been like they announced that the Colbert Report was going to end after 10 years? We didn't know anything about the Letterman deal, and then a couple months later it came out, oh, Colbert is going to be replacing Letterman.
But then I think I'd have the intellectual brain capacity to go back, oh, wait, that's why. I mean, it's
But would
always going to
you-
be there.
Yeah.
But would you
Are
have
you-
been more
are you right
accepting?
now-
I'm not a
more-
goldfish in a bowl thinking, hey, look, what's this over there? Hey, look, what's this over there? Hey, look, what's this over there? I think I
But
can
Brian, are
figure
you
it out.
more worried about? Are you sadder about the? Oh, actually, I can answer this as I'm asking it. But you're sadder more about the loss of Colbert
Yes.
than you are worried about Colbert as a host on late night.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
he'll be a fine host. I'm sad for the loss of that character and that show.
So you-
And I'm worried he's just going to be like all the other shows, which are like I'm not a big fan of the typical late night show format. Like to me,
I
it's
think
like monologue, sketch, guest, musical guest, guest. It's boring to me. I don't watch them. I skim through them to maybe watch a guest. Like I watched Kristen Wiig on Seth the other day, and I watched I'll watch one or two guests. That's it. But I always watch Colbert. I always watch Daily Show.
That's true. It's not
You're
going
just
to
in a
be
stage of
appointment
mourning.
viewing
Yeah,
it.
you can't skim through the Colbert Report. You can't skim through Daily Show because it's not
Right.
like, okay, they're going to talk about this movie, hilarious anecdote, which was done with a pre-interview. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
I think I just came at it from a point of view that Colbert Report was always going to have an end date at some point, and
Yeah, I
obviously
did see
I
that.
think the signs point that Colbert was looking for an out in the next few years at least.
It always
He-
felt like a performance as opposed to something that like a performance more than a job, or I don't know how to put that.
I
but
just
it's-
found it's
yeah.
such a unique voice that I'm going to miss that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think.
All right.
That's true.
Like,
true.
did you guys see the Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen interview that on Seth Meyers?
Yeah,
Yes.
that was like the first week or two before we talked about it on the podcast. I think we all
Well, that's
talked.
kind of like that keeps replaying in my head when Ian McKellen said, "You know, I don't know. You guys are all the same." When
Yeah.
he's talking
Yeah.
about the,
I think you mentioned
And-
that on the podcast too. Yeah.
and I think that's like that speaks so loudly for something like that's what I worry about with Stephen Colbert is that he's such a unique and fantastic and intelligent person. To me, it's almost a shame to make him
I'm going to
another.
miss. I hope maybe he can do stuff like being sponsored by Doritos and doing like the concerts,
Yeah.
the concerts for freedom and stuff like that. I just don't know if they'll do that, or at least to
I
that
think
degree.
it'll be
I hope so.
I already think that the latest hosts have done a good job of, like, the Jimmy Fallon show is clearly different from the old Tonight Show or the David Letterman show or the Kimmel show.
Yeah.
And I think that right now it's going to be the old late night formula is like the basis, and then you build on there and go in different directions. And I think there's going to be a clear difference between the Jimmy Fallon show, the Stephen Colbert show, and the Kimmel show.
I'm excited to see what Colbert can do with a bigger budget and an extra. What would it be? An extra hour? I think there's a lot of potential.
No, he will have 5 shows a week though.
Oh,
right.
I thought you meant just on the nightly format. Yeah, okay.
On the nightly format, and news broke too that he's bringing over his entire staff from the Colbert Report.
That's good. Doesn't surprise me at all. I'm sure he had a deal in place with the staff for sure.
Oh yeah,
doesn't surprise me. Do you know for sure if it's going to be New York yet? Because I know they
haven't said yet, but all signs point to it. Because I mean, they have the Late Show studio there. Yeah. They have. I'm pretty sure CBS owns that outright. Colbert has his family there. Mm-hmm. All of his staff ideally have his family there. Blah blah blah.
I know that Stewart was talking about how it'll be weird to see Colbert on that Ed Sullivan Theater marquee. Then again, those are perfectly good studio space right across the street. Like, joking, you just keep it there.
Obviously, the next 8 months of Colbert is going to be must-watch as he winds it down.
Oh yeah, must-watch with
definitely.
Colbert on the Colbert Report and this sort of big show stuff that he's done already. This is like the biggest possible send-off that he can probably give himself, being an egomaniac of high regard.
I'm looking forward to see how he does it in character, because the one mention he made of the announcement on the most recent show, whatever it was, I feel sorry for whichever guy is taking over that show.
Yeah, he doesn't know he's doing it.
With the Late Show.
So, like, just to see how they dance around that in character stuff is going to be really fun to see.
It could be a giant I'm being canceled storyline.
Oh, that would be so good.
Yeah.
If Comedy Central was canceling him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's going to go balls to the wall, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm also looking forward to the upside of it being which show who is going to get that 11:30 spot. What they do with it ultimately, I think it's going to be.
Wyatt Cenac!
That would be awesome. Yeah, like in-house, a Daily Show correspondent.
Might be a new Daily Show spinoff. I'm hoping
Samantha
for Paula Tompkins.
Yeah.
Paul Tompkins for Speakeasy?
Yeah. Speakeasy with, like, he could do character bits, as in, like, interstitials, have, like, Cake Boss do a segment, and have, Ice-T do a different segment with the Speakeasy.
Colbert?
Yeah.
You don't think that Jon Stewart will get to choose who takes that time slot?
I think he will.
He could. I would like to see. Paul Tompkins would be great.
I don't think Stewart has any sort of contract about he owns that time slot.
But he just has power within within Comedy Central.
Cardinal Central.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if it wasn't another
the only Central.
like John Oliver or somebody like that.
Well, Oliver's already got a show on HBO.
Oh, that's right.
Debuting next week or something.
So then he can come back.
Hey everyone, Rob here. So here's where things went off the rails. Long story short, connectivity issues got us so that I was not actually audible to the recording software, and nobody else could hear me either. So it was decided that everyone else would tackle news about a new Universal movie where Amy Poehler and Tina Fey will be playing sisters. You'll hear some random typing and Skype sounds where I'm actually sending them messages over Skype with info about the movie to try and keep the conversation on track. And then from there, they end up talking more about the Police Academy remake and an inside joke amongst the SNL League about Jake Johnson, which leads somewhere.
If it's still being recorded, do you want to try to take it from here then? Do we know the name of the movie? I don't have notes in front of me.
Pull it up.
I don't know the name. I know they're going to be playing sisters. They've been cast to play sisters.
Do we think it's be like an Odd Couple-esque thing, or?
I imagine so. Sort of like what they did with Baby Mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tina Fey comes home and, her and Amy Poehler, they're taking care of one of their parents, and, craziness ensues. And
it is called The Nest, by the way.
Oh,
the Nest. That's right, yeah.
Returning to the Nest. I'm excited, again, for these two women to be able to play around in a film alongside one another.
Yeah, doing anything together, it's always good news.
Yeah, it's always, good fun when the two of them are on screen together. I'm kind of more excited at this point to see who they have as like the bit players that come in.
Yeah.
Like who else will be around them.
No, agreed.
I love how Rob's like silently sending it.
Don't acknowledge it. I'll just quietly seg into, oh, by the way, guys, the plot is that they go back to their childhood home for one last weekend before the parents sell it.
That's right. That's what the plot was.
Yes.
Thanks, Rob.
No, it was me, Brian. I said that thing.
Guys, if we have a producer in our ear, the important thing is to not to show the fact that we have the producer in our ear.
Be a professional, Leah. Jeez.
Sorry. That's correct, Brian. It's director from Pitch Perfect, who will be directing, and from SNL. Hold on. Writer Paula Powell is going to be penning this story that no doubt will leave us all tickled. Back to you, Brian.
Yes,
how do we fall apart so fast with Rob not here?
I hope this all stays in.
Just us floundering in the wind.
The other pair is doing a movie.
Why I'm so needed on this. The three of them can't handle it.
Yeah.
The other pair, Ian Peel, doing their spin on the Police Academy is something that should be very interesting.
I never thought I would say this, but I'm looking forward to seeing the Police Academy movie.
Yeah, so, like, I can't even, like, to me that's kind of brilliant because I would have never thought to reboot Police Academy with the two of them. Yeah.
It's like 21 Jump Street with Lord and Miller. It's like, the comedic sensibility, it doesn't matter really what the project is, they're going to do something really cool with it. So, bring on whatever you want to do it.
Yeah, they're going to take something that was weird in the 80s and it's like take that surreal aspect and probably turn it up a notch.
Mm-hmm.
But, and you know that there's going to be some good cameos because none of those guys are doing anything. So there's so many opportunities to have, like, them pop up.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yes. Yes.
Hi, guys!
It's that girl that was always meek, but now she gets super loud and aggressive at a certain point.
And, of course, the one and only Stonecutter's very own, Steve Guttenberg.
You know they're going to do like a Johnny Depp-esque cameo this time.
Yeah, you know that they have to do it. And is the guy who did all the sound effects, is he still around?
Michael Winslow? I assume so.
I say that they just give him that part back.
Yeah. He's been there in the department for like 30 years.
Yeah.
He's the Ice Cube to this.
Well, he could be their police chief or whatever. They're calling it up.
That would be amazing.
Well, I think that part's going to go to Jake Johnson, but, you know.
Touche.
Remember how, like, the first Police Academy was super R-rated? Like, it was filthy. They had blowjob jokes. And then it just devolved into this, like, barely PG mess by the end.
Speaking of Jake Johnson, have you also seen the trailer with him and the Wayans?
Yes.
I haven't seen that at all.
For, like, the Two Fake Cops? What's it called? Like?
Yeah, isn't it called Two Fake Cops?
Yeah.
Oh, the same, yeah.
They just ran out of, pitches. Let's be cops. How about
that? Way to come up with that off the top of your head, Leah.
Thank you.
I feel like we're being supervised by our parents. Flashcards on the side.
And there, I shit you not, is basically where the connectivity crapped out. I was able to get everybody back together again for a solid 30 seconds where we could all say goodbye. But, yeah, so if you want to follow me, I'm Rob Exists on Twitter, and I also run the Deep Thoughts SNL account on Twitter. And now throw it to everybody else.
Okay, I'm Brian Edwards at CoconutPhone77 on the Twitter.
I am Leah Sueko at Leah Sueko on the Twitter.
I'm Russel Harder. I'm the commissioner of the Saturday Night Live Fantasy League. I also host Trivia Club throughout Toronto. You can find that at facebook.com/Trivia Club. You can find us on Twitter at Trivia_Club and myself at Russel Harder. All one word.
All right, thank you everyone for being here, and we're done.
Yay!
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 Yay!